Hello and welcome to another exciting video. Excel is always exciting. I know you can't see me, but I got my thumbs up right now. That's how excited I am. So let's get started. Today we're gonna take a look at working with data, how data kind of reacts in Excel. First of all, I'm going to just kind of increase the size here, zoom in. If you're like me, getting old and can't see quite as well as we used to, then you can do that as well. You can always do that to make things bigger. So in talking about data, let's just choose a cell here. If I start entering data, this is some data. Okay, as you can see, what I've entered is actually larger than the cell. Okay, so I'm in cell C5 right now, and what I wrote actually overflows into the next cell. Okay, now Excel will let you do this. Okay, if I actually click on cell D5, the one next to it, you can actually see that there is no data in here. All the data is actually in C5. Okay, so be careful. If you want to edit that data, you'll have to click on C5 because there's nothing actually in D5. Okay, so Excel will let data overflow as long as there's nothing in the cell. Now watch what happens if I actually put data in the cell. Okay, fill in this cell. Okay. Now what happens is if there is stuff in the cell, the previous one just gets cut off. Now you don't lose anything. If I click on C5 again, you can see all the data is there. So that's basically what happens. If there's nothing beside, it will overflow. But if there is something beside, then the cell will get cut off. Well, not cut off, but what you see gets cut off. Okay. So one solution is just to make things bigger. So this comes to resizing our columns. To resize your columns, you just go up to the top here and you can see that your mouse kind of changes into this symbol here. If I just click on that, I can grab and resize to whatever I want. Okay. Another thing you can do, again here up top when you have this symbol, is you can double click. What double clicking does is it sets the size of your column to the width of the largest item. So if I have several items here, right, 1, 2, and 653, right? So obviously that's the largest one. If I double click, you can see that it will set the width to the largest one, like that. So that's resizing. You can do the same thing for rows as you do with columns. You can grab and resize like that. Notice the numbers that appear when you start resizing. So you can see, right, that's size 18. I don't know where they get these numbers from. I think they just arbitrarily made them. I don't know what size 19.5 actually means. Because you'll notice that 19.5 in the columns is actually a lot bigger than 19.5 in the rows. Okay. Another way you can resize is you can actually right click on a column, and if you go down here you can see that you do have the options for column width where you can actually type in an exact width if you want. Okay. If you want to do this to multiple columns, then you'll just have to select multiple columns like so, or multiple rows, whatever you're resizing. Okay, right click, column width 15, and they all become 15. Okay. Another thing you can do with a selection is you can do it like that, and all of them kind of become the same size if you've selected multiple things. Okay, so there's resizing. Just let me pause for a second while I gather my ideas. Right. So sometimes it's nice to kind of put some things together. For example, let's say I have a table here and I need to put a title right in the middle of everything. So one thing I can do is I can select multiple cells and I can merge them together. Merge and center. Okay, so essentially that just becomes one cell. So if you see, if I go up and down, all these are cells, and then if I go up here, that essentially treats that as one single cell. And this is often nice for like table titles or chart titles, things like that. Title of my table. Okay, and then there's the normal things that you are probably familiar with: resizing font, right? Bold, colors, whatever you want. You can also merge cells this way, right? If you have a big block of something, right, you can also merge that way, and that essentially again becomes one cell. Okay. This is often nice if I have like a big long message, for example. Let's write, this is a big long message which will go inside the box. Okay, so as you can see, my typing is also horrendous. I make mistakes. So inside. All right, there we go. And you'll see that what has happened is the usual thing, that it starts writing and it wants to overflow, but it can't because there's stuff inside this column. All the data is there. Okay. What would be nice if I could get this on multiple lines. And in order to do so, it's this option right here, wrap text. And there we go. Okay. Right now, all the text is aligned on the bottom. Okay. So in Excel, you have these options here where you can actually decide, I want my text on the top, middle, or bottom. Okay, so you might be familiar with Microsoft Word, where you have things like left, center, and right alignment. Okay, Excel also has top, middle, and bottom. Okay, so whatever one you like. Okay, so that I think wraps it up for this lesson. Join me again another time.